my volume up. Ooh, fix that. And I will turn y'all's volume up. And... Alright. Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussion, whichever way you would like to pronounce it. So, we are beginning, we're going to do something fun this time, something odd, something weird. We're going to do a character inspiration, kind of a creation corner type thing, where we take something and turn it into either a tabletop character, or a scenario, or a hook, or an idea for a campaign. So, that's what we're going to do. As far as announcements go, we don't have any specific announcements, aside from the one that we already announced before, which is we're going to be trying out several different systems over these next few months. Dark Heresy is going to be in our February month. We're not sure what's coming up in March or April, so stay tuned for that. But we'll know before the end of Dark Heresy, I'm sure. But that will start recording in February. We were actually making characters for it earlier tonight. So, or at least Kane and I were. I'm not sure what Crypto was doing. I think working. But
yeah.
Any other announcements that you guys know of? I don't think Tommy has anything going. So,
nothing that he hasn't announced on some video.
Right. Okay. Let's get into what we're talking about today. We were trying to figure out some kind of inspiration that we could do for this character conversion or conversion corner thing, and it needed to stand alone. And we were like, okay, well, we could, Levi was here first, and we were talking about, we could do something with like an Edgar Allan Poe poem, or we could do something with a bit of music. So that could be an inspiration, and then we got on how that would be a JoJo reference type thing, and then we started talking about that, and that led to the fashion. Maybe we should use fashion as our inspiration, be really weird and fun with it. And then Kane got here, and we said, yeah, you could do it with anything. You could even do a character off of food. And I was like, yeah, you could. And Kane was like, I don't think it can be done. No. And so now Levi and I really think that we need to do this so that Kane can see that inspiration can strike from anywhere.
They seem convinced that they can tell me they can make a character out of a plate of fried chicken.
Yes.
And I don't think it's possible.
I think it
Perhaps
is.
they will convince me otherwise, but
I've already got a character in mind that was inspired by the fried chicken. So
Okay, here we go. Levi's up.
Okay. So I need to put you through some of the thought process. First thing, fried chicken is a tasty but decently utilitarian, that it's kind of simple. You just put the stuff together, you fry it. When I envision that sort of thing, I'm thinking someone practical who does their job well. If we went in Pathfinder terms, I'm feeling a fighter. Right? It's the basics, it's kind of generic, but it works well and it does what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Okay. Just baseline. Now, we were specifically showing off that second fried chicken dish, right?
Yes, we are showing off the
Cool.
fried chicken with, looks like a cranberry sauce, and some russet potatoes with herbs. Butter.
Yeah. So, the potatoes really fits in the same vibe for me as the chicken, but when I get into the herbs, when I get into the cranberry sauce, I kind of want to... My brain often goes Pathfinder route. There is a mutagenic root of it. I see some of this, working with things in a different way, adding a touch of alchemy with it.
Okay.
So like a mutation warrior fighter?
Yeah. So there's the starting line. I feel personality-wise, I got a more or less pragmatic feel that, like, it just came from, they had access to the research to be able to use that. They knew it would work better for themselves. Fried chicken feels... This is okay, I don't have any good justification for this. Maybe it's just because I like fried chicken. Feels good aligned.
Okay.
I don't know.
Any feel good food is probably good aligned. And soul food is nothing if not feel good food.
Yeah.
All right. But what about the cranberry sauce for the character for you?
Right.
It represents the blood of his enemies.
Well, we can go there, or we can, like, take that, like, tartness and that aspect that, like, they have a general, like, good goal and hope for people, but, like, they've got a bit of a sour demeanor. They're, like, helpful, but they have a hard time properly, like, emotionally showing that off, which often happens with, like, the more military style of training that would make sense to go along with this. Right? So they're, like, terse and maybe not super friendly, but they're definitely the sort of person that's gonna go and save who needs saved and risk their own life doing so.
So the character is tart and bitter at times, but has that sweetness in those actions that redeem him to those participating. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and I feel with time you would get to be able to appreciate even the tart aspects as just another part of an overall good person or dish.
Okay. Alright, so we'll see Kane. He got a character out of it.
Yeah, but how many times does this guy multi-class?
I mean, if you're going for
this is just the start of the character.
There's got to be at least 3 multi-classes. Otherwise, it's not very crunchy chicken, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, if we want to do it that way, let's see. Obviously, as I said from the get-go, fighter.
Right.
Mutagenic Mauler archetype. I'd want to say... yeah, it'd have to be Alchemist. I don't really like Investigator for it. Has some of the other ideas that don't really properly fit the vibe. And...
You could do a bit of... For that sweet and sour... Not sweet and sour, that tangy and tart sweet cranberry sauce could represent that little bit of magic that comes in through the blood as well. You could go with a kind of blood rager or something like that to accent some of the ragey portions of the fighter.
Okay.
Some emotional portions there.
Okay. In which case, you'd want at least, like, 4 levels to actually get access to some of the magic.
So we're saying that this plate of fried chicken is at least a 4-level blood rager, however many levels of fighter, and however many levels of alchemist. So we're looking at least a 13th to 15th level character is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and I'm feeling instead of the like bomb alchemist, it's the sneak attack. I'm trying to remember.
The dissectionist.
Yeah, because they get you right in the heart like good soul food should.
Oh, there you go. See, Kane? See?
No, I'm not.
It can be done. I'll tell you something. This actually inspires something different for me. Instead of a single character, I've got not necessarily a full setting, but perhaps a region. Fried chicken is associated with soul food of the South. So it is basically your agricultural area, and it has, instead of Tengu, it has a bunch of anthropomorphic chickens. And that this is basically their country. This is where they live. They all got the classic Southern accents. Some of them even wear overalls just to top it off. And overall, there you go. Overall, it has a very personable feel to the place. The entire area is rather isolated, and it's got that rural charm to it. And they don't eat a lot of meat, so they grow their potatoes in the fields. So you have these almost, you could even go so far as to call them Irish-ish. That red russet color coming from the potatoes, and also in the tail feathers and things like that of the tin goo / chicken goo. No, there's got to be a better name for that. Breed. The Gamecock breed of tin goo. And it's all fun on the front part. It's all good, and they've got that personable feeling, but there's a darker bit, as represented by the cranberry sauce. There's they're sweet on that, but they have that tartness and that bitterness that's under the surface, that's not talked about. And it is the fact that they see no problem with eating other sentient races, including humans, and frying them up like we fry up chicken, and eating them, and no one knows what it is. Which, when you're eating their food, you don't know where the meat comes from, because they don't bother telling you, because it's all one dish to them.
I just wouldn't eat the meat.
Yeah. In the area. But that's kind of what I get. That's one way to do it. And it has less to do with the crunchy bits, I guess. So there could be that whole crunchy bit could be a bit of the abrasiveness of the idea of eating other sentient races, but oh, they do have a harsher, just like regular chickens, they have a harsher pecking order. So societies are very much divvied up that way. But that's one thing that you could do with it. But I don't know, Kane. You may not be convinced. You may not have the idea of it.
I don't know. I don't really see taking a plate of fried chicken and turning it into a man. It's
Well, I didn't. I turned it into a chicken.
Well, no, but Levi
chicken
turned it
country.
into a man. You turned it into the region feels like a better conversion than Chicken Little, the alchemist and fighter.
Oh, you're getting into it now, Kane. See, you can come up with the names. See? We'll let you name it.
There we go.
Well, you have like Chicken Little, bourbon chicken, chicken dumpling,
Lemon chicken,
sweet and sour. They're from Chinchou. So there you go. You could have a whole area, a whole cacophony, a whole flock of different chicken warriors that you could run with.
Is this why we don't? I feel like this is a reason why we don't have chicken people in Dungeons and Dragons. They were like crows. Crows make sense. Crows are smart. Ravens, yeah, basically just big crows. They're a little dumber, but they're still pretty small. Corvids, we like corvids. Let's put some crows in there. Chickens? No, we don't want that. Chickens are a bad idea.
It's possible. But
so it's going to lead to conversations like this.
Well, you could run it where the reason that this place is so rural is that they've been hunted to extinction because they taste so good. And maybe the other sentient races hunt them instead.
You know what Levi said earlier that actually reminded me of something from 3.5 Dungeons & Dragons? Was there was a time when I think it was Dragon Magazine released a joke article about NPC prestige classes. and one of them was the Delicious or something like that.
Okay.
Or no, Delicious was a feat that the NPC Prestige class Weir Sheep could take.
Oh.
And Weir Sheep, you could turn into a normal sheep. That was it. Just a normal sheep. You didn't get a hybrid form. You were just a man who on the full moon turned into a sheep.
A delicious sheep.
You kill less random people that way.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Have you ever been hit by a sheep before? They're pretty fucking mean.
Okay. Did not know.
Um,
Never been hit by a sheep.
well, there you go. Now you know. They're not. I mean, they're not. They don't kill as many people every year as cows do, but they're not particularly nice animals.
And then the delicious feet made them more delicious. Huh?
Yes, the Delicious feat basically gave them, like, an aura that monsters could smell, and anything with, like, I think it was like a swallow whole ability had to make some sort of will save to avoid, like, targeting them specifically.
Oh, yeah. That
just, like,
actually...
ignoring them.
That actually did carry over. It carried over in the Gorons of Pathfinder. The Gorons in Pathfinder have they can have an effect where they have the default effect of being delicious, where if they get swallowed whole, it's harder for them to get away because they're delicious.
Mm-hmm.
They can take the opposite effect for some penalties and different buffs, but like I said, they take penalties for doing so. They take negatives for certain things.
Yeah, it just kind of reminded me about that. Like, that joke article, they had a couple different classes, and one of them was also that you were, like, a potently psionic brain in a dead farmer's body.
A dead farmer's body?
Yeah, so, like, you couldn't move your body, but your brain was alive, and it was, like, you had a really powerful psychic brain trapped in a dead body.
Well, I mean, if you had telekinetic brain powers, could you not lift the body?
It depends on...
The Prestige class leveled you into becoming telekinetically powerful, so you could, like, drag your body around.
That actually sounds fun. I could play that.
Yeah, it sparked a bunch of, like, homebrew content on places like Giant in the Playground, and like combining that content with stuff that already existed in the cornucopia of material that existed for 3.5. And I remember the Weir Sheep one again because it was one of the more powerful ones. Because it was
more powerful?
Yeah, because they homebrewed like an extended version of the Prestige class where eventually you got a hybrid form of the sheep. Maybe not. But you got stuff like powerful build where you could treat yourself as large size whenever it was convenient to you, and a bunch of feats specifically about like being swallowed whole by a monster and then like pushing yourself out so they suffocated on you.
There's a picture of this sheep just getting swallowed whole, man. This ram just gets swallowed whole and he just goes whoop, like in a cartoon. It's this big huge monster. It's like and he's not choking because enough air is getting past the big sheep, but he's constantly hanging like when something gets stuck in your throat real bad.
Yeah,
like
just like a
chicken
particularly
bone.
large hunk of hot dog. Just
all right.
Yeah, like the whole class leveled around being eaten by a giant monster and then either like choking it to death from the inside or fighting your way out.
All right. Well, that's some interesting ways to do it. I don't really think we've changed Kane's mind about using food as inspiration for your characters.
I don't know if the next time I go to Top Donair and get a pizza, I'm gonna be thinking about how I can turn this into a wizard. But you did remind me of that old article, which is fun because I might be able to find that again somewhere.
There you go. Control F. All right. Well, I think we have talked for about 20 minutes about converting a food into a character. So if you enjoyed our little talk here, we appreciate you letting us know. If you didn't, go ahead and tell us too, because you know what, you're allowed to have an opinion. Doesn't matter if it's right or not, but you're allowed to. Anyway, we hope you had a great time. We had fun talking about it. Have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
Peace.
Gotta find him. Bye.